Webflow Logic is the newest feature from Webflow, and we are going to talk about that in this video. Let's go! Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Kyle. I'm the Chief No-Code Officer here at We Are No-Code. And in this channel, we talk all about the no-code and the no-code space. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I'm really excited to be finally recording this video for you guys to talk about this new feature because it's really game changing. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about what is Webflow Logic. Then I'm gonna give you a quick overview about Webflow Logic. So we are going to go inside the Webflow editor and I'm gonna show everything about it, how it works, how it looks like, so you can kind of have a sneak peek about it. And then I'm gonna answer common questions that you might be having while checking this for the first time. So first, let's talk about what Webflow Logic is, so you can kind of understand what this is exactly. I'm gonna go to their website and I'm gonna use the website as a way to explain this for you. If you want to follow along, you can also click the link down below in the video description and access the website. By the way, if you want to join the beta, you also have to go to the website and sign up for the beta. Just follow the process, fill up the form correctly, and I'm sure you get access to the beta as soon as possible. Okay, so what is the logic feature inside Webflow? If we take a look at other existing no-code tools, we can see that some of them have one specific feature that is called workflows. So logic for Webflow is similar to workflows for other no-code tools. And if you don't know other no-code tools and you don't know what workflows are, I can explain that for you in a simple way. So this feature is kind of a brain inside a no-code tool. Is where you set up actions and conditions. So if something happens, then something else happens, and then you trigger actions, and then you do some logic and some workflows and some steps that will accomplish some specific tasks. So it's basically automation inside no-code tools. Like for example, we have other tools that are specifically built for building automations like Zapier and like Make, for example. So basically what's happening is that Webflow is creating automation features inside the tool itself. So basically what you can do with Logic is to create automations and integrate existing parts of that application. So inside of Webflow now you'll be able to integrate forms with databases, for example, and also create external integrations with APIs and with other tools to create more complex use cases. So let's take a look at their website to understand this a little bit more. Also, an important information is that this feature is still very early stage. That's why it's still in beta. So I think it will be even more powerful over time, and this is just the beginning for the Webflow Logic feature. So, for example, you can use Logic to collect leads, integrating Logic with existing forms that you have inside your Webflow project. If you stop and think about it before, if you wanted to integrate a form with some existing service to collect leads, you had to use Zapier or any other tool, any other automation tool to make that happen for you. What will happen now is that you will be able to create automation and integration between forms and databases internally inside Webflow itself. So you don't need to use another tool to do specifically that, but also you can continue using external tools if you wish to, but that is going to be another option now for you to create automations and integrations inside your Webflow projects. So now you can collect leads, for example, you can connect with customers, so you can create a trigger action and then invite some user, for example, to join your Webflow project. You can manage the website content, for example, the CMS that you have inside your Webflow project. So this way you can allow people or yourself to add data to the database CMS using forms that are built in inside Webflow and that are available inside your Webflow pages, for example. So now you can do a lot of things that you needed to do with external services only using Webflow itself and only inside Webflow. So it's an all-in-one situation where you can use Webflow for everything you need to do. And this opens up a lot of new possibilities for you. So it's kind of having Zapier inside Webflow, but of course not with all the Zapier capabilities. It's more focusing now on the actual features that are available inside Webflow, like I mentioned, the CMS. And then you can also integrate with external services and APIs, but then now you'll be able to do that inside Webflow only. So basically, you can set up triggers, you can set up conditions, and you can also choose the actions and build these flow based on the conditionals and do some specific tasks like updating the CMS, like doing a HTTP request using some API, and also send email notifications. So you can do a lot of actions right now, and I also think those actions are just the initial actions you will have access to, and I think in the future you will have access to more actions as they advance and evolve this feature. But it's really nice that Webflow is improving, and now with logic features and also the membership features that they already announced as well, and that is still in beta, I think you'll be able to create even more powerful solutions and applications using Webflow. So that's great news, guys. Don't forget to check the No-Code Startup program. There is a link down below. Go to the website and get informed about this amazing community where we are helping entrepreneurs and first-time founders to create their startup business ideas using no-code tools. Join today more than 450 students from more than 23 countries, and let's get you started in the no-code space. Just check the link down below and apply today. Okay, now is the big moment where I will go inside Webflow and show you the logic feature and give you a quick overview. So let's do it together. Okay, so I'm gonna click here, and as I can see, there is no flows. Inside the logic tab, you will see all the flows you have available. In that case, I don't have any for now. So all I have to do to create a new one is to click this new flow button here. Then the new flow will be created for me. So it's very common to other existing workflow tools. If you worked with email workflow tools or Zapier or even other no-code tools, you will be very familiar with this, and it will be very easy for you to understand and to start using this. But yeah, so basically the first step is for you to select the trigger. Okay, so what is going to trigger this, this automation, this workflow, this logic that you are creating? So right now you will have two options to choose from. Maybe in the future we can have more options. So you have the form submission option. So in case you have a Webflow form that you created inside your Webflow project, you can trigger this form specifically. And when someone submits a message in this form, then this flow will trigger. Okay, so this is the first option you can choose. And the second option is webhook integration. So in case you have APIs, you have a webhook, you can also use this webhook to trigger this flow, which is pretty nice and very interesting, and it can allow you to do a lot of complex stuff as well and amazing integrations. So once you click, let's say for example you click form submission, then it will select this as the trigger. So here on the side you can select the form you are going to be using. So if you have existing forms in your Webflow project, it will show up here. If you don't have any form yet, it won't show anything. That means you have to create a form to use as a trigger first. And then you have a few more options here that will appear based on the configuration of this trigger. I'm not gonna go into details on how to set up this for now. This is just a quick overview. So basically you set up the trigger here, then you can click the plus button to add more blocks. Okay, so you can add more blocks by clicking here, or you can drag the blocks here as well. So for example, let's take a look at the actions we have available. So we have the option to send an email notification. We can create CMS items. We can delete CMS items. We can update CMS items. We can search for specific items, and we can also make HTTP requests. Also, we have utilities here, we have the conditional rule that we can use to filter the flow and to create if-else statements, for example. So let's take a look. For example, let's say when someone submits this form, I want to create a CMS item. All I have to do is to drag this block here, and then it will give me all the settings to configure here. So I can select, for example, one collection item from my CMS database. Then I can connect the information that I'm collecting from the form submission to the block that is going to create a new CMS item on my CMS database. So this way I can create, for example, an automation that when someone submits information through a form that is available on my website, it will add a new item to my database. So that opens up a lot of possibilities. And I can even create more actions, like I want to update some item, I want to search for some specific item and then update the item. So it's up to me how I create this sequence. Of course, it has to make sense, but with that, I can create multiple flows and allow people to do a lot of stuff and interact with my project. So I can really create logics here that can search for items, update or delete items. So this will be really nice. Then if you don't want the actions anymore, you can remove the blocks by clicking with your right click on the mouse here. Let's take a look at the send notification. For example, I can send email notifications to someone in case they fill out a contact form, for example. So I can send an email to this person with an automatic reply. So there are lots of use cases that you can do, and you can also get very creative with this process and create cool automations and cool workflows. Another option we have is the conditional rule, where we can create true or false statements that work like if and else if you are a programmer, for example. So that's really nice because you can create such advanced features just visually without having to code anything. So let's say someone submits a form, then you can create some specific conditions. So imagine inside your form, you have drop-down element that has two options. Based on the option that the person selects on this drop-down field, for example, let's say they are looking for houses and there are two options. One is apartment and the other is a house. So you can either say, for example, if it's a house, then do that. If it's an apartment that they are looking for, you do something else. So you basically can filter your workflows and do some actions specifically based on the information you are collecting. So you can create true or false statements and you can see the values. You can see also a lot of options that you can choose here to define how this flow will continue. And then if you want to, for example, based on the answer, I want to send an email notification, and based on the answer, I want to create a CMS item. You can do that. And you can also continue adding extra steps. Let's say, for example, at the end, I want to do a HTTP request. So with the HTTP request, by the way, you can connect to APIs. So you can have get, post, put, patch and delete options here to integrate with APIs, and you can pass on all the information you need to the HTTP request to make this happen and to integrate with APIs. So really guys, this is amazing. This is an awesome new feature, and I'm sure you'll be able to create a lot more complex projects and create amazing things using no code and using Webflow. This is just the beginning. As I said, I think for now they are just focusing on the CMS items and also allowing you to connect to external databases. They have just the conditional rules for now for the utilities part. And also in the future, I'm sure I can bring more content to you guys and show some specific tutorials and use cases on how you can set up this and use workflows on a daily basis. Hold on, this is not the end of the video. I still want to talk about the third part of this video that I prepared for you, which is answering the common questions you might be having after taking the first look at the Webflow logic feature. So let's talk about those questions you might be having right now. So the first question you might be asking yourself is, will this feature replace Zapier or Zapier, whatever you want to call it? Well, the answer is no. And even Webflow officially said that basically what they are trying to do is to allow you to create workflows and automations. But for now, as you can see, their main focus is to allow you to interact with the native features they have. For instance, the CMS, the databases, I think in the future, the memberships as well. So guys, it will not replace automation tools like Zapier and Make, for example. Of course, it will replace those specific use cases that they are targeting for. So in case you want to just connect a form to add some item to the database, to the CMS, or send some email, or just connect with other APIs, you will be able to do that using Webflow only. So in that specific use cases, yes, you can replace Zapier. But for other use cases, I think Zapier will still be relevant and will still be an option for you to use. So I would say it's not a complete replacement, it's just another alternative. And for some use cases, of course, it will make more sense to use the Webflow native feature than using Zapier, for example. But it will not completely replace automation tools like Zapier, Make, and other tools available out there. Okay, so the answer is no, it will not completely replace Zapier or other automation tools. Okay, now the next question you might be asking: when is it going to be out of beta? Okay, so right now this feature is still in beta, because why they are testing this, they are just releasing a couple of options like I mentioned. There are more actions to come in the future. So they're just making sure that this is good enough and working well, so then they can release to everybody else. So if you wanna participate in the beta program, all you have to do is to go to their website and sign up. And they said they are releasing and making sure people who are signing up for the beta are getting access as soon as possible. So it might not be too difficult to get access to beta at this point. And I'm sure after a couple of time, we don't know exactly when it will be available for everybody else. So just make sure you go to their website and register to get inside the beta, or just wait for it to be publicly released for everyone. Okay, and another question you might be asking is, how can I get access to this feature? So same answer, just go to the website and access the beta, and you will have access to this feature if you are accepted in the beta program. Okay, so that's all you have to do for now. Another question is, do I have to pay anything extra to use Logic features? So the answer is no, you don't have to pay anything extra to access the Logic features. It will be a native feature that is built in inside Webflow, and you don't have to pay anything extra. As long as you have access to a plan that has the CMS, you will be good to go, and you will have access to the Logic features. And like I said, it will be available for everyone once it's out of beta. If you want to get early access, just sign up for the beta and they will give you access as soon as possible. Another important question is, can I connect to APIs using Logic features? Yes, you can connect to APIs. You can use the HTTP request block to connect to APIs. Of course, you have to understand how that API specifically works. Just make sure you go to their documentation, understand the setup, and use that feature to connect to APIs. So yes, it's gonna be possible for you to connect to APIs and external APIs while using Webflow Logic, and that's really amazing, and it will open up a lot of possibilities to create amazing things using Webflow. And the last question, what is the future of Logic? And I think in the future it will allow you to do even more complex things, and you will cover more use cases. For now, it's really based on the form submission as a trigger. I think in the future they will have more trigger options as well. It will connect better with other parts of Webflow. So I think not only the logic will evolve, but I think databases can also evolve, and this will allow you to create even more complex types of projects with Webflow. So I think this is just the beginning. It's already exciting, but I expect a lot more coming in the future. So let's stay tuned and see what comes next from Webflow. I'm excited about this improvement, and I'm really happy that this is happening. This means no-code is growing, the no-code market is maturing, the tools are getting better, and that means we can do nicer things using no-code and more robust solutions for us, for our clients, for our businesses, and that's really amazing. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also leave the thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with a friend that will like to know about Webflow Logic feature, and I'm sure I'm gonna bring more videos in the future talking about Webflow and talking about other amazing no-code tools and information you might like to know. That's it from me today. I hope you liked the video. Leave your comments down below if you want to say something or ask anything, and I see you on the next video. Let's no code!